Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. In this tutorial I'll be teaching you how to make these mini mirror glazed cakes. I've got a little cake board here and I'm attaching my 4-inch cake on top of some buttercream, filling in with some more of that buttercream, and I'll have the recipe for that in the description box below, or a link to the recipe, and then apply the next layers, just always repeating those steps. I'm going to clear off the sides of the cake, pop it into the freezer for 10 minutes, and then apply my final layer of frosting. And we put into the freezer so that as we add our final layer, the layers of the cake don't go shifting around. Then I'm adding a healthy amount on the side of the cake, the very top and at the very bottom, and then I'll go in with my bench scraper and I'll just scrape down the sides. I'll go a bit fast and rough at the beginning just to smooth off the buttercream, and then go slowly to get a nice clean effect. And then using my spatula, just taking off the top lip, bringing it to the center of the cake, and then popping that back into the fridge for about 10 minutes. And in the meantime we'll create our glaze. So I've got some water here and the gelatin powder. I'll have the recipe for this in the description box below. Once that's all dissolved, we'll go ahead and add our water, sugar and glucose syrup in a saucepan over medium heat, and just stir until the sugar has dissolved. Allow that to come up to a bit of a simmer for a couple of minutes, and then turn off the heat and add in that gelatin water mixture that we had before. Stir it in until it dissolves, and then we'll add in our condensed milk. Once that's all stirred through, you can add in your chocolate. Let the chocolate sit for a couple of minutes and then start stirring, and it should be nice and melted. And continue to stir until all that chocolate, or most of that chocolate, has melted through. Should look a little something like this. And then we'll pass it through a sieve, and to make sure we have all those large pieces out of the batter, or your sugar glaze. Once that's all stirred through, you can add in your chocolate. Let the chocolate sit for a couple of minutes and then start stirring. Once that's cooled down a little bit, we'll pop it into 3 different containers and add in our gel food colour. I've added about 2 drops of each, and then just stir that through. Then once that comes to about 35 degrees, it's pourable, and it's the best temperature to pour it at. Unhinge your cakes from the cake board that it's on. Pop it onto a little container that's smaller than the cake so that the excess glaze can drip off the sides of the cake. And here in a little cup I'm preparing the 2 colours. So I've just combined 2 colours here, one starting off with yellow, adding a bit of that purple, and then yellow again. And as you pour it onto the cake, both colours should show through separately. And if it doesn't quite show up as you'd like, just add in that extra colour. So here I'm going in with some more of that purple. And I find it comes up a lot better if you add the second colour at the end. So you might add yellow, and then the second half you'll go in with the purple and then pour it directly over, rather than 3 different steps. And to help it to drip some more, I'm adding some more of that yellow into the centre of the cake. Here I've gone in with the turquoise and the purple, starting in the middle and then working your way out to the sides and just dripping over the top edge of the cake to make sure it comes down the sides of the cake evenly. Go over any spots if you see cake still exposed. And the very last cake, the turquoise and yellow. Adding in a bit more yellow so it shows through better. And then pop those into your fridge for about 10 minutes. After about 10 to 15 minutes you can cut off the excess drippage with a knife. And then pop them onto a plate, onto a cake board. Just gently touch one of the sides to the cake board and then quickly remove your hands. clear up if there's a bit of a mess just with a dry napkin or tissue. And then we can decorate the sides of the cake. So here I've just gone in with an open star tip and some turquoise buttercream. And then try to use the coloured buttercream that has the least amount of colour in the cake. So here you can see it's predominantly yellow, so I added the pink around the corners instead. Now here I've gone in with some honeycomb and some edible flowers. Just taking some petals apart. And then for a very last detail, I'm adding in some edible gold leaf. For the turquoise and purple cake, I've added in some popping rock candy instead of the honeycomb. And I've gone in with a matching purple flower instead. And again, adding on some of that gold leaf. And the colours work very well here. Add in your cake toppers if you have any. And you're done. That's how you make 3 miniature cakes decorated with the mirrored glaze effect. It's a lot easier than it looks. I know it's kind of a bit daunting working with mirror glaze, making it from scratch and whatnot, but once you do, you won't regret it. It's actually a lot simpler than it looks. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. And if you like little cake toppers, I do sell those on my website, rosiesdessertspot.com. But also quickly mention, because it is a mirror glaze, you don't want to put too many things on the cake because that is the whole focus of the cake. It's being able to see those colors kind of blending and whatnot. So I wouldn't really use this for like a loaded cake. I've only added a couple of details along the very edges of the cake so that it's not covering the real hero of this picture. But yeah, just a little tip for you guys. So thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you again on Tuesday.